Welcome back inside the Sports Lodge, a post-Thanksgiving edition. John, I don't know about you, but I'm fucking stuffed after this weekend.
Oh man, I've eaten so much turkey. Actually, my family had such a huge dinner. I think I got enough leftovers for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm still on leftovers. This will be my third night of leftovers heading into tonight, and you
Oh,
know what? The stuffing's gone, but there's still cranberry, there's still gravy, there's still turkey. I'm gonna make my way through. Let's jump into it, buddy, because there's a lot of sports that happen Thanksgiving weekend. It's not quite as heavy as American Thanksgiving, but a lot of things happen, especially when you're not paying attention. Let's start with the NHL. If you were sitting on your couch Sunday night after a full Thanksgiving meal like I was, you were treated to the Maple Leafs Blackhawks jumping out and having just one of the craziest finishes we're going to see, John. And I think we're really starting to see the goaltender pad streamlining really take effect as the goal scoring's just been up like crazy in the NHL to start the year.
yeah. I mean, there was 13 goals scored in the Sunday night contest in Chicago with the Leafs and the Blackhawks, and you could say what you want. I mean, Leaf fans, myself included, a little bit upset with Garrett Sparks' play, but you can't blame him for probably about half of those goals. And I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with the pads or not, but yeah, the goal scorings definitely seem to have gone up in the NHL so far this year.
How fun was that at the end of the game? Matthews and Kane going back and forth with the ears, with the making noise chants. I love it. That's the type of stuff the NHL needs more. And two of the top stars in the game going at it like that, I don't think you can ask for anything better.
Yeah, no, definitely. When I seen Matthews give it to the crowd a little bit, I was like, "Yeah, there you go, some personality. Finally, let's see it, let's see it." And then Kane gives it back to him. I was like, "Oh man, you could only they panned to
Oh, you could see it
Matthews.
coming too,
Yeah,
from
he
a
panned to
mile away.
Matthews, and he sees the smirk on his face, right? Like he's like these guys trained together in the off season. Both American hockey players, they know each other very well. So it's interesting because this little rivalry and a little bit of personality.
Yeah, absolutely. It's too bad we don't see more of that. The Leafs and the Blackhawks only play twice a year. Lots of injuries from around the league this weekend, John. Roberto Luongo hits the IR. James Reimer's going to play some games in Florida. I don't know if you want to get into that too much, but then there was others too that I'm just blanking on right now that I had totally written in front of me, and then they just
Uh,
disappeared.
yeah, with Luongo, I mean,
Go
like
for
this.
Luongo quick.
The Florida Panthers had to have seen this coming. I mean, like the guy was injured last season and he had to have knee surgery, I believe, in the off season. So you'd think that you would fortify your goaltending in some way, but they just stuck with James Reimer. I mean, James Reimer's a good number two, but he's not going to be that number one goalie that's going to carry you through. And the Florida Panthers, I mean, we both thought they'd be contending this year, but without a number one goaltender, that's going to go away very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Another goaltender down, Matt Murray in Pittsburgh. This guy can't seem to stay healthy in the regular season. And once again, Pittsburgh's going to have to go with a goaltender by committee here as they try and fight through an early season concussion from Matt Murray. The other injury that really stuck out to me was the JVR going down from 4-6 in Philadelphia. Big loss for the Flyers, a team that I think we both agree, John, are sitting right on the bubble of playoff contention, and every point's going to count. JVR, a proven 30-goal scorer, a big threat on that power play. Him going down is a real loss for the Flyers early in the season.
Yeah, what a strange injury too. It was on a blocked shot. So, and there hasn't been a lot released about it. Lower body injury. Thank you, Pat Quinn, for that one. That will be his lasting legacy for sure. I don't know what happened there. And they were saying it could be a fracture, but even worse, it could be a bone bruise. And I think to myself, I was like, how could a bone bruise be worse than a fracture? And then I did a little bit of research, and apparently, it could take upwards of a year for an athlete to fully recover from a bone bruise. So that's a long time. The Flyers have got to be hoping for a fracture or something here, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, but you'd always rather a break than a bruise, especially when it's a major bruise like that, because they just don't heal. At least a break will eventually heal, but bruises, it's just you never know how long it's going to take. All right, John, we are talking before the Leafs game tonight. They're in Dallas taking on the Stars. Back-to-back games for the Maple Leafs against some pretty good competition. I don't know if we want to get completely into this game. I don't think we have to, but I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention the NHL's first star of the week, Austin Matthews. 5 goals, 3 assists to start his campaign. And we thought, and we were maybe concerned about the lack of scoring on that line with no Willie Nylander and Patrick Marleau being 40. But Austin Matthews just continues to be a bona fide stud, and he finds a way to lead the NHL and the Maple Leafs here in a pretty successful first week.
Yeah, Matthews is looking outstanding. So is Johnny T, but you know what? You mentioned Marlowe. I gotta give props to my boy Kapanen, man.
Yeah,
Make him William Nylander look more and more obsolete as days go by. And not saying that William Nylander is an expendable player by any means, but if Kasperi Kapanen continues playing this way and they have trouble signing William Nylander, he's going to make it easier and easier on Kyle Dubas to say, all right, I'm going to move off from this guy and try and get someone back into trade. So it's going to be interesting to see. Don't want to get into the William Nylander stuff because we hammer it. But yeah, going up against the top team in Dallas tonight, it's gonna be good. Ben Bishop, top goaltender in this league when he's on his game. We're going to be seeing that Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn connection a lot tonight. So the Leafs defense is going to be tested severely tonight. I think they're going to have to perform much better than they did in Chicago.
yeah. I haven't seen line rushes. I assume Ozaganov's going to come back in for Marincin, but you never know what's going to happen when your team fighting or picking at your sixth defense spot backup goalie. Things are okay in Leafland. Obviously, Freddie Anderson back in that. All right, John, it's early in the NHL season. It's so early that Carolina's in first place in the Metropolitan Division. So I feel like we should back off the NHL for now and jump into what was, always the biggest story of the weekend. Let's go NFL football. And really the game that shocked me the most just by looking at scores when you scroll through them, Green Bay getting smoked by Detroit in Detroit. Mason Crosby can't seem to get his stroke together, and the Pack are looking a little whack here, Mr. Lodge.
Yeah, we've talked about kickers and how bad they've been all year. Mason Crosby just lost his job, right? Like
Well,
seriously,
they
he
didn't
had
cut
to.
him, so
I
I
mean,
thought the
oh
same
man,
thing.
how do you not cut this guy?
I would
Like
have.
seriously, 3 missed field goals and a missed extra point.
I
Oh
thought it was
man, and
four
I
missed
think
field
2 were
goals.
within 35.
Yeah, he missed
I don't
five
know.
total kicks inside a dome. Like Ford Field's a
So,
dome, John.
and I mean, like remembering back to my high school days and through my like early 20s, like Green Bay dominated this matchup year after year after year. There was always Green Bay coming in on top, and then Detroit, man, they exercised years and years and years of frustration on Green Bay, and they crushed. I mean, the score made it look more respectable than it actually was. Detroit was on top this whole game.
Yeah, Matty P gets wins over the Patriots and over the Packers in his first year as head coach for the Lions. Not quite sure if people are still bitching about making them run laps in practice, but we'll see how things end up in Detroit. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, John, the biggest blowout of the week that I didn't see coming at all. I thought this was going to be a high scoring game on both sides. It seemed that the Falcons had found a way to figure out their offense, but old demons are hard to kill, and the Atlanta Falcons red zone struggles once again pop up their ugly head, and Ben Roethlisberger and the James Conner connection just torched the Falcons on Sunday.
Yeah, the Steelers just looking really good in this one and looking stronger and stronger as weeks go by. And can't imagine where this team's going to be when they get Le'Veon Bell back after week 7. It's going to be outstanding. Talking about Atlanta for a second, I mean, this is a team that literally, like, 2 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. Like, where is this team? Where is this? Where's Mohamed Sanu? Where's Julio Jones? Where's Matt Ryan? Like, what is going on with this team? And, I mean, it's almost comical to see them. They're done. This year is over. Their division is too tough. The Falcons are out. If you're a Falcons fan, I feel bad for you because you got zero hope. On the other hand, a couple weeks ago, I probably would have said I was feeling this way about Pittsburgh, and like I said, man, they've really come back. They're on fire, and keeping Atlanta to 17 points, you can blame a lot of it on Atlanta, but I've been calling it the aluminum curtain the last few weeks. It's a little bit more steel curtainish this past week, so good on them. Gotta say though, and I asked you this a little bit in the prep, but I want to get this on. What do you do if you're the Steelers? What do you do with Le'Veon Bell and James Conner, considering Le'Veon Bell's obviously gone next year?
Yeah, it seems like it's the Le'Veon Bell is not going to be continuing his career as a Pittsburgh Steeler much beyond the 2018 season. I think it's pretty simple here for the Steelers, Johnny. I think you ride the shit out of Le'Veon Bell when he decides he's going to play football for you again. Ride him like he's the best running back in the league, because he might as well be. And then you use James Conner in support. He's your third two back options. You can run him. He knows all the routes. You can really open things up with a two back set with Conner and Bell moving forward. But then I think you hang on to him, right? He's still on his rookie deal. That seems to be the way the NFL is going, is you just run these young kids into the ground. And that's what I think the Steelers are going to do here. I think it's pretty easy for them, especially I can't imagine them trading Connor and then going into next year with no Bell, no Connor in the backfield at all with Big Ben and Antonio Brown. That just doesn't seem to be a viable option to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be James Conner's show next year, so you gotta try and limit his reps. I think this season and give it to
Well,
Le'Veon
they
Bell
will,
until he
right?
comes
Because
back.
Le'Veon, they're gonna run Le'Veon Bell, and why wouldn't you? You know he's not gonna play for you any longer. You know that you need the points, you need everything he can do. So just as long as Le'Veon Bell is willing to take the football, I think you gotta hand it to him. Uh, so John, I wanted to read you this out loud because coming into the week, if I had told you Patrick Mahomes had less than 300 yards passing, no touchdowns, and threw his first two interceptions of the year, you would say Kansas City what to Jacksonville?
Kansas City lost, obviously, because the Jacksonville defense is normally outstanding, but it just seems that the Jacksonville offense couldn't keep the ball. That's really what that did it to him, right?
5 giveaways from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Chiefs come away 30-14. Look, I'm not as hard on Blake Bortles as most people are in the NFL. I've seen Blake Bortles go out and make every throw. Go back and watch the Patriots game in week 2. The guy just went into Foxborough and shredded the Patriots defense, but wasn't his game. Wasn't Pat Mahomes' game either. But it's good to see the Kansas City Chiefs aren't necessarily a one-trick pony. And that was my biggest concern about them heading into this week, John, was if they can't run the ball or throw the ball successfully, are they really going to be able to open up the running game? I know their backs are good, but I think a lot of it's based off of how good Patrick Mahomes has been. But I don't think you're ever going to win a football game when you give the ball away 5 times like the Jaguars did.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting story coming up in this next game for Pat Mahomes, because obviously they're up against the GOAT and the Patriots. So it's going to be the young guy, the new phenom, we'll say, if you're going to give that title to him. Everyone seems to be in the NFL.
He's certainly the sexy toy of the moment.
Yeah, so we'll see if the Patriots can shut him down and be the first team to hand him that big L, or if not, it's definitely going to be interesting on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, we'll break down. I believe that's the Sunday nighter this week, so we'll talk.
Sunday Night Football. Not Thursday.
We'll preview that and more on the upcoming editions of the Sports Lodge later on this week. But let's continue the recap, Johnny. Greg Joseph hits a game-winning field goal in overtime to give the Browns their second win of the year. And the Baltimore Ravens somehow slide to 3-2 here. And the Cleveland Browns looking pretty respectable, John. Never, ever in my entire life would I have bet money that the Browns would be 2-1 through 5 weeks of this NFL season.
Yeah, just an interesting game all the way around. The Brownies had the lead until late field goal or late-ish field goal by the Ravens to tie it, and then it went back and forth in overtime. It was so weird, like to see the Ravens have such a hard time scoring, and yeah, are we gonna call it a field goal, Joey? Like, is that what we call that? I don't know, man. That was. Can we call it half a field goal?
It wasn't pretty, but it worked.
Holy!
As long as it gets through the uprights.
As long as it gets through the upper, hey, it goes sideways. It kind of looked like it was like floating like a flying saucer. Not
Mason Crosby wished he was kicking balls like that on Sunday.
Yeah, I guess, right? That one makes it through. Mason Crosby can't hit
absolutely
a broadside of a barn.
Well, we're on the last second touchdown or field goals, Johnny. the Titans and the Bills up in New Era Field in Buffalo. My sister decided this game was more important than Thanksgiving dinner, so she was there in full force cheering on her Titans, and she was sorely disappointed with a 46-yard game-winning field goal from Steven Hauschka, and the Bills scrape back to 3-2 here, and this is a big loss for the Tennessee Titans, John. They had an opportunity to go 4-1 to start the year, pull away from Houston, pull away from this division, really, and they just don't get it done on the road.
Yeah, they kind of just gave it right back to the Bills here, and I mean, you give it up to the Bills for playing a decent game and able to win that or get that last second field goal, but Derek, Henry was just shut right down almost all game. I mean, this is a big, powerful running back who should be able to just plow through dudes and normally does. And the Bills just for some reason were able to shut him down. And then I don't know, for whatever reason, I believe it was Lewis. I think it was Lewis. I can't remember this name. 33 on Tennessee.
Yeah,
he ripped a couple good runs in the first quarter or second quarter, and that just apparently was enough to continue running him all game. I would have just hammered it with Henry, to be honest, because the dude is more likely to be able to get through a couple blocks. But I don't know, man. The Titans, they kind of just handed the division. Well, they didn't hand the division away, but they handed it back to everybody else, where they, like you said, they could have pulled away, right?
Yeah, they could have pulled away in the AFC South, and because Jacksonville lost, right, and Houston found a way to barely beat Jason Garrett and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. But you never know. I had a couple other things from this week, John. One of the biggest surprises to me, and it wasn't really not necessarily a surprise, but it is a surprise, is the way the Philadelphia Eagles, their offense has just looked terrible this year. And I know that Minnesota Vikings defense is really good, but we've seen them be bad this year too. They find a way to win in Philadelphia 23-21. They pushed themselves to 2-1, just like the Cleveland Browns. And we got ourselves a bit of a shootout here as to what's going to happen in the NFC. My question to you, though, are you worried about this Vikings offense, or do you think they're going to be able to turn it around?
I have more belief in the Vikings offense than I do, well, I guess the Vikings defense than I do the Vikings offense. And I think the Vikings defense is good enough to carry the offense. So all Kirk Cousins has to do is just be good enough. He doesn't have to be great. He's got Thielen and he's got Diggs, two very, very explosive wide receivers. He's got the weapons to use. He's just got to be good enough. So I think I think he's trying to be great right now because a lot of eyes kind of are on him for being the dude coming in and trying to win. So, just trying to comprehend or trying to put it into words here. The way the defense has performed up until last week kind of made him have to be that hero. Right? Whereas now if the defense can get better, Kirk Cousins can just be good enough.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to give 3 quick shout-outs here. I wanted to give a quick shout-out to Drew Brees for becoming the NHL's all-time passing leader.
NFL, not NHL.
Oh, did I say NHL? NFL, professional football's all-time passing leader. I would also like to give a quick shout-out to Odell Beckham for that touchdown pass on the losing effort to Saquon Barkley. That was kind of fun. Best quarterback on the team. And I had a third shout-out, and I don't know who. Oh, and shout-out John Gruden for being 1-4 in his first 5 games as the Oakland Raiders head coach.
He looks happy, doesn't he?
As they lose to the Chargers, who are sneakily good here, 3-2, 26-10. Yeah, John Gruden looks like a miserable bastard. $100 million. I just don't know if it's enough money for Gruden right now, and I wouldn't want to be him, as everybody seems to be going back to the tapes and finding that quote where if I can't pull it off, I'm not, or they should fire me, or I'm not going to take their money. Whatever he said, people are holding it to him right now as it's a rough go here for Derek Carr and the Raiders.
Yeah, and I had to touch on that Odell Beckham interview. little bit sensitive. The owner wasn't too happy. Apparently, he made Odell Beckham apologize to the team after he heard the scintillating interview there, where he called out pretty much everybody he could have possibly, while oddly having Little Wayne sitting beside him the whole time.
Hey, well, you got to represent the boys, right?
Yeah, Odell Beckham, and then he goes. But you know what? He showed out though. He threw that touchdown pass, right? So, good on him. He apparently can do it all, but a heartbreaking loss to the Panthers there. A 63-yard field goal. Shout out to is it Gano?
Robinson Gano, yep.
The kicker for the Panthers?
Believe so.
Yeah, so shout out to Gano for the 63-yard field goal
63-yard bomb
to crush the hopes of the Giants for getting out of that 1-3 slump to now 1-4.
And that makes me happy. All right, John. So through 5 weeks, there's only one undefeated team. No, two undefeated teams in the NFL. Can you name off the top of your head?
KC's undefeated.
Yep.
I'm not looking. I'm just looking at teams. I'm not looking at divisions or like scores or anything. No, I can't. Oh, Rams?
There you go. Those are the two undefeated teams. Rams, Chiefs, through 5 weeks. We will let you know if we think they're going to continue their undefeated record or if one of them is going to lose a game this week. Further on the later editions of this week's The Sports Lodge. But let's jump into baseball, John, because it's playoff time. Somehow it just kind of sneaks up on us. We wait all year for it. And then nobody watches the Colorado series. Nobody watches the Cleveland series because these games are on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was great little turkey check-in on what's going on with these baseball games. But two really just lackadaisical series in Cleveland and Colorado as they fall to... Cleveland loses to... Who did the Cleveland lose to?
The Astros.
The Astros, and Colorado loses to the Brewers, respectively.
Yeah, both in sweeps, and I mean, Cleveland just really couldn't get anything going. And ditto for Colorado. I mean, Colorado had a rough go, though, heading into these playoffs. 3 different time zones, 3 nights, 2 elimination games back-to-back. Well, not elimination games, but 2 very important games back-to-back just to get into a 5-game playoff. I can understand where they maybe were a little bit taxed for the Rockies. But the Brewers, I mean, sneakily good, man. This team... I don't know how they can't be the favorites. I know the Dodgers are tough, but I don't know how the Brewers can't be the favorites coming out of the NL in this one with that lineup they're touting and Christian Yelich, the MVP. Just unbelievable, unstoppable. The big thing going on tonight, though, we got the Yankees and the Sox, the last team in the DS that is yet to be decided. The Sox putting a whooping on the Yankees, 16-2.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just
I have 16-1 here, but
or 16-1. Sorry, my apologies. I thought it was 16-2. I wasn't looking at the previous score. It's going off my memory. And so you got Porcello and Sabathia tonight, but the Yankees. I want the Yankees to pull this out. I want this to go as long as I possibly can. I want a 5-game series here, but I mean, Boston looking good, even though David Price is doing everything he can to make sure they don't win a playoff game.
Yeah, the pitching for the Red Sox continues to haunt them. I think the Yankees are going to pull this game out tonight, John. I think this is going 5 for sure. It's more fun that way, and hopefully we don't get another blowout. I was really disappointed last night to have a 16-1 blowout like that. It's just these games are more fun when they're more competitive. The final series in these opening rounds is the Dodgers and the Braves. The Braves tried to make it a bit of a series as they forced a game 4. But ultimately, they lose 6-2 in the 4th game. Good little run for the Atlanta Braves. Nobody expected them to be in the postseason at the beginning of the year. Alex Anthopoulos and company has nothing to hang their hat on. That was a very, very good year, but it'll just be a footnote in the 17-18 season or the 18 season, I guess, when it comes to an end. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we get out of baseball and move to some of the craziest events I've ever seen on Saturday night?
I lost you for a second. Did you get me back?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second. You want to start off the Dodgers thing again?
How long did you lose me for?
15 seconds.
Okay, well, the audio recorded, I could see it.
Okay. All
So,
right.
like, I think maybe I don't know if you just cut out, so it's fine. So I just finished with saying, do you have anything to add more to baseball, or do you want to
No,
move
no,
on? Okay, so
nope.
just say
We can
no.
move
Let's
on.
move on to Saturday night.
No, let's move on to what happened Saturday night, Joey. Let's move on to the McGregor Nurmagomedov fight. It was a great night. I mean, I paid for it,
Did
$65.
you really? I
Yeah,
streamed it
I
illegally. Thanks,
wasn't about.
UFC.
Yeah, I love my UFC, and I wasn't about going to a noisy bar, paying more than paying for overpriced beer and overpriced food. So I just ordered it at home and went to the beer store and went to Costco and got my snacks on. And
Not a boy.
yeah, it was a good night for John. I had a lot of fun watching all of it.
Did you make any money? Is the real question.
No, I did
No.
not make any money. I have unfortunately had McGregor in all of my
Oh no,
bets,
buddy.
which was just a bad idea apparently. And
Clearly.
I realized that now. Now, before I get to that, before I get to the nonsense and my opinion on that, um, I want to talk about the good things. Uh, Mostly the Anthony Pettis Ferguson fight,
Hmm.
which won
Hell
fight
of a
of the
fight.
night. Yeah, a hell of a fight, and both of the guys putting on a show. Pettis flipping all over the cage like he's break dancing everywhere, and
Yeah.
Ferguson running the side of the cage doing a little bit of Pettis stuff, and just great showmanship on both of them. And then, honestly, Pettis broke his hand. There was a point in the beginning of the fight where Pettis full on blocked a Ferguson shot with just his hand. I think that's where the damage was initially caused, and then repeated force just smashing his fist on Ferguson's head doesn't help. So unfortunate for Pettis having to throw the towel in, but I like seeing that the corner ended the fight because they know their fighter can't go. No more of this macho bravado. Go out there and finish the fight. Doesn't matter what's wrong with you. If you're injured, you're injured, right? You gotta end this fight.
I hate that though. It sucked. It sucked so bad, John. You wanted a third round. Don't tell me
Yeah,
we were both
definitely. I
sitting
won the
there
third round.
watching this fight. I wanted a third round so bad. I don't give a shit about Anthony Pettis. He is a person used for my entertainment, and that's basically what he's paid for. He's paid to entertain me, damn it. So go out there and get your ass kicked. You were getting your ass kicked anyway. That Ferguson's a monster. That guy's terrifying. I had never seen him fight before, and holy shit, that guy was throwing makers all over the place and just stalking him like a lion chasing a hurt gazelle. It was absolutely awesome. And I hated that Anthony Pettis threw in the towel. Throw some elbows. This is mixed martial arts. Get in there. Do a clinch. You have other ways. I think it was a cop-out because they knew he wasn't winning, John.
uh,
Pettis was getting his ass kicked, and he
yeah,
knew
he
he
was
wasn't
he was
winning.
definitely getting
You
it fed
mentioned the
to him.
flips. He was flipping around because he didn't know what the hell else to do. He's trying wheel kicks while he's just getting his face knocked in. Didn't make any sense. Um, the other highlight from UFC this weekend was the interview after the heavyweight
Oh yeah,
matchup. The gentleman's name's escaping me, but
Lewis, I believe.
yeah, that interview with Rogan. If you haven't given yourself the opportunity to go watch it, it's pretty funny, man. So do yourself
I
a
ain't
favor.
trying to fight for a title right now. I need to sit my ass down and do some
I gotta do some
cardio.
cardio, man. And then he's just like, I just want to go smoke some weed. He's That's a type of guy that you want to root for, and he's gonna have a following. All right, John. Do you want to
Ferguson,
talk about the fight at all?
I do have to mention one thing. I know you probably didn't watch the post-fight pressers. I was right
Did
into that. I was up to
not.
4 in the morning. Ferguson went off at the post-fight presser, calling out both Nurmagomedov and McGregor for the nonsense that happened after their fight, and then calling himself the champ. If Dana needs someone to take that belt, he's there. He's like, and he doesn't care if he's got to fight for it. He knows that belt belongs to him. So I like the cockiness in this guy. And yeah, so let's just hop right into it. Nurmagomedov and McGregor. Everyone could not wait for this fight. It was the most anticipated fight of probably in all of UFC. I
Yeah,
would I would say it.
it's one of them at least.
And Nurmagomedov did what he needed to do. He dominated this fight. He laid on top of McGregor. He fought his game, and I give him credit for that. He won the fight. But I mean, I know it can be hard to lose with grace. Joey, but it really should be easy to fucking win with grace. And this guy, he didn't want to let go of the choke after McGregor tapped. Once he let go, he lorded over McGregor, pressed down on his shoulders. Then, obviously, I get that you're being chirped, but he flies over the top of the cage like a spider monkey and causes an entire melee. The dude's a clown. He deserves to be stripped of his title. And I mean, like, just for that alone. But the reason he will be stripped is because the Nevada Athletic Commission is going to suspend this guy for over a year, easily over a year, and he's losing that title, bro.
No, he's not. The UFC's not going to do shit to this guy.
Gone.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to pay him $500 million to fight McGregor.
It's not up to the UFC.
It's not up to the Nevada Athletic Commission, John. They don't.
Yes, it is.
John, no, they'll fight in Canada.
They're the ones who suspended the Diaz brothers.
They'll fight anywhere else.
John Jones.
They'll fight in Russia. Fight in Ireland. Fight in Canada. Fight in
Nevada
New York.
Is the UFC's home.
And so? Fight somewhere else. They've done it before. They'll do it again.
There is no way Dana White goes against the Nevada Athletic Commission. There is no way in hell. No way in hell.
He's done it before. And it's not really Dana White's decision. They're not going to strip this guy. It was a dumb decision, but it was awesome. It was great, John.
It was stupid,
It was great. It's the best publicity for the UFC's had in years. It's so much fun. Of course it was dumb. The guy jumped into a crowd. But that flying kick, oh, that was fucking fun. I was slapping my dick off watching that fight, John. That was amazing. You can't, and they're not going to do anything to him. They're absolutely not. They're going to, Nevada will suspend him. Okay, and the two
Nevada's
guys
already withheld his $2 million, €2 million purse.
That's all right. He's gonna get his pay-per-view money. He'll be fine. He's gonna get those pay-per-view clicks because everybody bought it. You bought it. I didn't, but everybody bought that fight, and the guy's gonna make money. It was a clown show move, but I get it. When McGregor says some shit, man. And
I get it, but
it's a fight.
I guarantee that in hockey there are chirps on the ice we don't hear that are really, really bad. Same with baseball, football, basketball, the shit these guys talk on the court. You look at every other fight McGregor had, it was over after the fight was over. He is seen hugging the guys. The guys know it's all about the buildup of the fight, and Habib just could not handle that.
He doesn't play that game,
couldn't
bro.
do it.
Don't talk about my dad. I'll fly and jump kick you. Awesome.
I get how it could be beneficial for the UFC, but you don't realize how hard the UFC had to fight to get in other states like New York.
Yeah, but they're in now. They're in. They're not getting out.
That doesn't mean that they'll be in always. If they think that it's going to be a danger to the public, do you realize what could have happened in Nevada on Saturday?
I know it did.
You realize that the brawls?
Irish people got the shit kicked out of them. It was unfortunate. Russians are tough, man.
It could have been Tyson Holyfield all over again.
Yeah, they're just not going to do anything to him, buddy. I just really don't see it. The UFC is going to find a way to get him his money. McGregor said pay the man. It was a dumb thing to do, but it was awesome. It was so much fun. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was standing there just speechless. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
I was definitely not speechless.
I know, you were rattled. You're getting into it with Biz on Twitter. You're yelling at people. Johnny, it's the entertainment business, and it's gotten them. It's even better because that's the last thing the UFC wanted was to make a man off or whatever, however we pronounce it. I don't want to.
You did good. No, that's good.
I don't want him to get it wrong, so he doesn't come flying kick me through the fucking head. But the guy's a monster, and obviously you'd rather McGregor win the belts and be the champ because he does these things better. Now, just about the fight though, quickly, because I know it's the least interesting part of this. I thought McGregor did pretty good.
The third round belonged to McGregor,
right? And he did a pretty good job getting up. Nobody gets up against this. You watch his last fight, Nurmagomedov versus
no, not Ali Quinta. Ali Quinta went all 5 rounds.
Oh, the other guy, whoever he
he normally mauls everyone though. Yeah, you're right.
Right, and so I didn't realize his last fight he went 5 rounds, but McGregor got up. He did okay, but he was getting the shit kicked out of him. Yeah. Look, we can disagree on it. I'm sure Nevada will suspend him, but I just don't think the UFC really cares. I think they'll just go somewhere else because they're going to make more money, right? And champs normally get to fight at home, right? If they want to go, Nurmagomedov can go fight in Russia. I love how they don't really say he's from Russia. They say he's from Dagestan, which is really just Russia. You would never say, every other country in the world, they would just say Russia. but because it's
Dude
Russia,
knows how to piss off the American media too. Eh? He comes out to the press conference and said Putin called him and said good job.
yeah, well, of course he did. Like,
Like,
it's so funny because you hear him like after, and he's so calm, and like I can understand his points. It's like if you're gonna talk that shit to me, then I'm gonna take it personally. But like you have the opportunity to fight anybody you want when you're the champ. It just you're right. It was dumb, but I loved it.
I mean, I know that you don't think the NA or the Nevada State Athletic Commission has, and I hate saying that, such a mouthful, has very much power. But the governor of Nevada was in the building and had to be rushed out by the Secret Service because of this, and that's never a good thing because he oversees the athletic commission. And Habib was kissing their feet in the post-fight press conference, apologizing twice. So I know he's
like
worried about
he's
it.
gonna apologize, but yeah, because he wants to make his money, John. Like he wants.
Yeah, I get it.
He's apologizing to make that bank because fuck, if you just beat the shit out of Conor McGregor, you should probably get some money because you know
And
he
like I
got
said,
paid.
I give it to him, man. He beat him, and he did his thing.
I certainly
I
hope they
don't want
don't
to see a
strip him.
rematch. I don't want to see a rematch.
Ah,
You
I
want to
do.
know why?
Come on.
Because it's going to be the same thing.
But you don't think Connor? You don't think
I
it would
really
piss him off
don't.
again? Because I think
I
Connor
think-
will just double down. I think he'll start
No.
tripping his
I don't
wife
mean
and
like
his
the
kids,
aftermath. I just
and I think this guy will just want to kill him again.
yeah, but I think that Habib will, and that's why I don't want to see it. There's no mystery there. I firmly believe that it's just a mismatch. Like he's just
Yeah.
he
He's
can't
kind of
match
boring,
that style.
eh? Like he's kind of boring to watch. Like when he's not actually mauling, it's kind of
Mhm.
boring. It was that first round was boring, man. He just lied on top of him for
Yeah, he pinned his legs.
yeah, right. And like it was a boring first round, but that then that second round he comes out and lands that overhand right on McGregor's chin. You're like, oh shit, this is a
Yeah,
fight.
there was a freeze frame of that. That was a wicked shot.
That
man,
was
so.
absolutely gross. Yeah, I got nothing else here on my list, Johnny. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, that's it. I'm
Alright,
looking
cool.
forward to the Leaf game tonight and a little bit of Boston Red Sox, New York Yankee magic. So let's go.
You betting on this game tonight?
I might bet on the Yanks and the Sox, but I'm not going to be betting on hockey.
Yeah.
I never really have much luck with hockey. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm. You know me. I'm still poor and still recovering from Super Bowl losses. So once again, my gambling hiatus continues. All right, Johnny. Well, that was another edition. This was the Tuesday, October the 9th edition of the Sports Lodge. Thank you so much for tuning in. Me and John will be back on Riot Radio Thursday at noon. Make sure you tune in, and we'll be back Friday with another edition of the podcast. Thank you so much for being patient with us. Sorry we didn't have a couple shows this weekend, but Thanksgiving takes precedent, and I was very
Family.
I was very happy eating turkey and getting drunk. So
That's
sorry,
exactly
guys.
it. All right. As always, guys, follow, like, everything's going to be down in the description. And yeah, if you have anything you want to talk about, hit us up.
All right. Peace out.
Later.